So I just want to talk about some of the settings that I use to be able to get the most out of my Osmo Nano. That way I'm able to get some of those cinematic shots that make my videos look almost like movies. So I'll be going over my picture profile, I'll be going over my resolution, aspect ratio, I'll be going over my ISO, I'll be going over my exposure and shutter speed and some other things that I figured out to do to get the best out of the Osmo Nano. As I mentioned in my first impressions video, this camera has its limitations. It's not a perfect camera at all. And honestly, if you're looking to buy a camera that's gonna do a lot more than this little tiny camera can, I would just probably wait until the Action 6 comes out because, like I said, this camera has limitations. So let's get into it. I'll go ahead and turn my Osmo Nano on. First and foremost, we'll start off with my preferred profile, right? So for me, my preferred profile, I record in, I'll go over here to color. So usually I prefer to shoot in 10-bit log. So that's gonna be the profile I prefer to shoot in. It kind of gives me just the best quality out of this little camera. But if you don't care to shoot in 10-bit, you could always put it in like normal 8-bit and then you'll just be able to shoot and save some space. But for me, I like to max it out. So next, we're gonna go over my preferred resolution, aspect ratio, shutter speed, because all these things, you can find them in the same kind of bucket. So with the Osmo Nano, and I think the DJI action cameras, you just have to swipe up and then you're gonna get all that stuff. You know, you're gonna get your resolution and your aspect ratio and your preferred frames. So for me, like I always go to the max. I max it out just to get the most out of this camera. So I'll go all the way to 4K, aspect ratio 4:3, and then frame rate, I'll stick with 24 frames. It's just what I just prefer, you know, but you got the option to go to some higher frame rates. But like I mentioned in my first impressions video, the Osmo Nano does struggle with shooting at high frame rates. But for me, it kind of works out in my benefit because I don't shoot a lot of like slow-mo stuff. And usually if I'm doing anything slow-mo, I'll probably just use my Sony a7 IV for that. But for me, I feel like shooting in 4K, aspect ratio 4:3, it just gives you the most flexibility to be able to either punch in post or just kind of get the most out of like the whole sensor, because in this aspect ratio, basically it's like you're shooting in open gate. And for people who don't know, open gate is just basically you're using the entire sensor of the camera. So I just prefer to shoot in 4K 4:3 at 24 frames. So for exposure, I have my two go-to settings. I like to just go in manual. Indoors, I'm always like at around 800, and then outdoors, of course, I'm gonna drop it all the way down to like 100 when I'm outdoors. Usually I'll probably throw on an ND filter on there, and sometimes if I'm kind of like running and gunning and I know like I'll be running around and I don't have the time to like set my exposure for every scene, I do like the fact that the Nano has the ability to just set like a range. So basically I'll just set a range from like 100 to 800, and anything higher than 800, you know, you're risking kind of introducing noise into the image. And I just know this camera, one of its other limitations is it's not too good in low light. All right, so this is how the footage comes out of the Osmo Nano in a low light environment where there's not enough light. Definitely not its strongest suit, but if you go outside where there's plenty of light, let me open up my blinds here. That way we can see how better the image looks. It tends to do a whole lot better when there is like a lot of light coming in. So if you're shooting outside where there's plenty of light, you'll get a great image out of this camera. But if you're shooting in a low light environment, right now the sun is literally coming up, the footage starts getting better and better. So for white balance, auto white balance is pretty good on the Nano. So sometimes I'll leave it to auto, but if I'm kind of trying to shoot with intention, especially like whenever I'm trying to really get those cinematic shots, I'll go into my manual and I just normally eyeball it. Usually I'll get it like a white piece of paper and just look at it and just make sure that it kind of like looks white to the eye. Probably not the best way of doing it, but it's the fastest way of doing it. But usually I'll eyeball it, and like for an interior shot like this, maybe I'll put it like 3600 Kelvin. But usually you can go all the way up to depending on your lighting. Sometimes you can go over to like 56, 57 Kelvin, but it can get a little too warm for my liking at 5700 Kelvin. So like for an interior shot like this, just eyeballing it, bring it down to like 36. Okay, you know, I'm pretty sure like shooting it through, you know, a camera probably is not the best way to represent, you know, what I'm seeing here on screen. And of course this footage is color graded, so that's pretty much that. Jumping into some other settings, as far as like glamour and stuff like that, I just turn that stuff off because I just like to have the most control in post when I'm editing. So I turn some of those like things off. Endurance mode, haven't had to try it, but when it comes to like image adjustments for texture, I'm just at -1. Noise, I'm at -1. I'm just trying not to get too much like of that digital look, just fresh out of the camera. So I kind of make those adjustments in texture and noise reduction, and that's pretty much it as far as the settings when it comes to this little camera. So as far as stabilization, we're gonna go back here. Usually I've found like rock steady is probably like the best as far as stabilization. I like my footage dewarped, wide dewarped. I don't like having like the fisheye lens look, but it's still something you can do just for like creative like visuals. You can have it like look almost like a fisheye, or you can have it like, you know, dewarped. That way the lines are straight and stuff like that. But I like to keep the lines straight. Like I said, the option to kind of get that almost like fisheye look is there. So that's a fun thing. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my settings for how I'm able to get some of the more like cinematic shots out of this little tiny camera. Like I said, it's not for everyone, and like I said, the overheating issues are gonna be a deal breaker for a lot of people, but I think for what it is, I still kind of like it. It's a real like weird quirky camera, and I know it's kind of like the modular thing is not everybody's thing, but I don't know, I like it. I like the fact that it's really tiny. It literally is a thumb size camera, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Definitely when the Action 6 comes out, I'll be interested in getting that camera and I'll test it out as well. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.